1. The weight of overthinking. Many of us believe that strength means how much we can handle, how much pain or pressure we can carry without breaking. But real strength isn't about carrying everything. It's about knowing what truly deserves your attention. Most people live with a mind that never rests. The moment they wake up, thoughts begin to rush in. What if I fail? What if they leave? What if things don't work out? These questions repeat in an endless loop, quietly draining our energy before the day even begins. Overthinking often hides behind the word responsibility. We convince ourselves that worrying about every outcome means we care, that imagining every scenario keeps us prepared. But in truth, this constant mental activity doesn't bring peace or control. It brings fatigue. It's not awareness. It's exhaustion. You can feel it when you've spent hours thinking and yet achieved nothing. Your body feels tired, but it's your mind that's truly weary. Inside, we hold countless silent conversations and explanations, arguments, and fears that never happen in real life. We replay situations again and again, trying to fix what's already passed or predict what's yet to come. This habit makes the mind heavy. It becomes difficult to be present, to enjoy a simple moment without judgment or analysis. The more we try to think our way to peace, the further we drift from it. True strength begins when you stop identifying with every thought. You don't have to respond to everything your mind says. Thoughts are just movements of the mind, and they come and go. The Stoic philosophers understood this deeply. They believed that the mind becomes calm not by control but by clarity. When you stop reacting to every idea and emotion, you begin to notice space between them. In that space, peace quietly appears. You don't need to solve every problem at once. You don't need to understand every silence or predict every change. Sometimes strength simply means allowing things to unfold naturally without forcing them. It means trusting that calm reflection is more powerful than restless thinking. When you let go of unnecessary thoughts, you make room for focus, for genuine action, and for understanding. Overthinking doesn't protect you from life. It only keeps you from living it. The calm mind doesn't ignore challenges. It faces them with patience and balance. Real strength is not in how much you can think, but in how much you can let go. The power of quiet. Focus. Real strength doesn't always appear in movement, speech, or noise. Often it's found in the quiet moments when you choose not to react, when you decide to pause instead of rushing to respond. Many people think being strong means doing more, saying more, or constantly proving themselves. But the truth is, lasting strength begins in stillness, in the ability to focus calmly on what truly matters. We live in a world that rewards quick reactions and endless activity. There's pressure to share opinions, to stay visible, to respond instantly. Yet the more we scatter our attention, the less we truly see. Our energy becomes divided between countless small distractions, and over time, that division weakens our sense of direction. The Stoic philosophers understood this long before the modern age. They believed that mastery doesn't come from speed or intensity, but from steadiness. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." This idea remains deeply relevant today. Most of us are not short on time. We are short on focus. We lose hours to thoughts and tasks that add little to our growth or peace. Real discipline begins when we start using our attention wisely, when we choose depth over distraction. Quiet focus means doing one thing at a time with full presence. When you work, you give your best attention to the task in front of you. When you listen, you truly hear without waiting to speak. This kind of focus strengthens the mind because it trains you to stay with reality instead of being pulled away by every impulse. The Stoics called this state ataraxia, a calm and steady mind that isn't disturbed by external noise. It's not about ignoring the world but engaging with it carefully. When you stop reacting to every emotion and every opinion, you begin to act with purpose. You start to realize that calm decisions often have more power than quick reactions. Over time, this quiet strength builds confidence, not the kind that shouts, but the kind that simply acts with certainty. The more you practice focus, the more peaceful life becomes. You no longer feel the need to control everything because you learn to trust your process. True strength, then, is not found in noise or intensity, but in quiet attention. The person who can remain centered while the world moves around them has already discovered one of life's greatest forms of power, the power of calm focus. 3. Silence and self-mastery. Silence can feel uncomfortable. For many people, it's not the absence of sound that feels uneasy. It's the presence of their own thoughts. When life slows down and the noise fades, we begin to notice everything we've been avoiding, our fears, our worries, and the truths we haven't faced. Yet this quiet is exactly where real self-mastery begins. In today's world, silence is rare. We fill every moment with sound, music, screens, or endless scrolling, as if being still for a while might expose something we don't want to see. But the Stoic philosophers believed that silence is not emptiness. It is clarity. It allows us to see ourselves without distraction, to listen not to the noise around us but to the quiet voice within. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, taught that a person conquers the world by first conquering themselves. And that kind of mastery doesn't happen through argument or reaction. It happens through calm awareness. When you stop rushing to defend yourself or explain every action, you begin to understand your own motives more deeply. You start to act from reason, not emotion. There's a story about Cleanthes, one of Zeno's students. He worked hard at night carrying water to support himself while studying philosophy during the day. People laughed at him for it, calling him foolish and poor. But Cleanthes didn't respond with anger or pride. He simply continued his work in silence. Years later, his patience and discipline led him to become the head of the Stoic school. His strength came not from what he said but from how he lived. That is what silence can teach: patience, discipline, and balance. It helps us step back from our emotions and see things as they are, not as we fear or wish them to be. It turns reaction into reflection. Silence gives us time to pause before we speak, to choose our actions with thought rather than impulse. When you learn to sit quietly with yourself, you begin to understand what truly matters. You no longer chase every opinion or defend every choice. Instead, you act with calm assurance. Self-mastery doesn't mean controlling everything. It means guiding yourself wisely. In silence, you build strength that doesn't depend on approval or noise. It's the quiet confidence of a person who understands that peace is not found outside but within. Focus over. Modern life is full of noise, not just the kind you hear, but the kind that fills your mind. Notifications, opinions, and endless choices compete for your attention every moment. It has become easy to stay busy but hard to stay focused. Yet focus is the foundation of peace and purpose. Without it, we move through our days reacting instead of living intentionally. The Stoics understood that attention is one of our most valuable resources. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. If you spend it on every distraction, you slowly lose connection with yourself. The mind becomes scattered, restless, and tired. But when you direct your attention toward meaningful actions, may even small ones, you begin to feel grounded again. Focus is not about doing more. It's about doing what truly matters. Musonius Rufus, a Stoic teacher, once said that discipline in small things prepares you for greater things. This idea reminds us that focus is built through simple daily actions. When you eat, just eat. When you work, give your full attention to your work. When you listen, really listen. These may seem like small habits, but they develop the ability to be fully present. Over time, this presence becomes inner strength. The modern world constantly asks for your attention. It tells you that to be successful, you must always be connected, always producing, always visible. But real progress often happens in quiet concentration, away from constant stimulation. Focus allows you to complete what you start, to bring calm instead of hurry into your work, and to build a sense of satisfaction that doesn't depend on outside approval. The Stoic path isn't about ignoring life or turning away from people. It's about engaging with clarity. You learn to recognize which things deserve your time and which do not. When you stop reacting to every distraction, you create space for thought, creativity, and understanding. Slowly, your mind becomes calmer and your actions more deliberate. Many people search for motivation, hoping it will push them forward. But motivation fades quickly. Focus, once developed, becomes steady. It helps you continue even when emotions change. It allows you to give your best effort without being pulled in 100 directions. In a world that values speed, focus teaches patience. In a world that values noise, focus brings quiet confidence. When you master your attention, you master your peace. Real strength is not about doing everything. It's about giving your best to what truly matters and letting the rest fall away.